Hi, I'm Spicy Korean with Big Boss Moves. I am live here in Lower Greenville at Halcyon, but I'm here today to actually work with one of my besties here. I've worked with her, or I've known her for a long time, but my dear friend Jessica, come on over. Okay, you gotta get your microphone and your headphones on, girl. Get your little head in there.
Hi, everybody. All right, there we go. Hi, everybody.
So, Jessica, tell us a little bit about what you do. What do you do for business?
I am a calligrapher, and I know
What's
you're asking,
that?
what is that? I don't just walk around with a pen and paper. I do weddings, events, birthdays.
So, is it that special, writing you see, right?
It's a special tool. It's a special pen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cursive. It's a skill that you have to learn.
They have to learn. You have to wet the pen and something like that, right?
Yes, I mean,
okay.
I got the feather pen, the quill, 1980s.
You do it. Okay.
Get the house all with the candles lit. All got to set the vibe. Before I start writing.
Right, and you were just teaching a class here.
Yeah, I was just teaching a class. I've been teaching calligraphy classes for almost 2 years now,
Nice.
and I've been doing calligraphy for 7 years now.
Nice.
Time has flown by.
So now you made it through
years.
COVID, which is a big deal with a lot of events canceling,
Yes.
weddings. A lot of those were canceling during COVID. What did you do during those times to make sure you stayed relevant?
Well, during COVID, that's when I really started looking at the teaching aspect of calligraphy and started teaching through Zoom because everybody was at home. It was the perfect time to learn a new hobby, learn a new skill. We were all bored, can't leave our house. What do I do? So we kind of transitioned to that to kind of keep calligraphy relevant. And I did that. And then just staying, marketing, building the connections with photographers, wedding planners.
People that you work with very well because they can also bring you business as well as you can bring them business, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because when I first started calligraphy, one of the big things to get my name out there was social media and building connections with photographers, wedding planners, wedding venues. And that first year, I worked my tail off, and I did a lot of things for free. Would I recommend that? Looking back, probably not.
But you had to get your name out there.
I did.
Yeah.
And I would go and meet them for coffee. I would go and give them free things. And it was a good year or two, and then all of a sudden, wedding planners were calling me and hey, we heard your name from so-and-so. We heard your name from so-and-so. And then
and you have to set that impression because there's other people that, that they may know already, right? Mm-hmm. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and you have to mingle, kind of. You
have to be social.
Yeah.
It's part of social media.
Yeah, and usually I'm not shy, you guys.
Definitely not.
Yeah. However, sometimes I can be, especially when you are marketing yourself. That's the biggest thing. Even when I teach calligraphy classes, we never believe in ourselves and in what we're doing.
I think that's for anybody. Yeah. Don't you think? Anytime you're starting something new, you're still kind of, unsure of yourself. You're still learning. But 7 years now, you've probably mastered the craft at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always room for improvement. I am still taking classes. I'm still learning. I still want to be better. I still struggle with, people. I went to Hobby Lobby and I was buying pumpkins because it's that time of year for the holidays. And it's right on your pumpkins. And the girl was like, "Oh, what are you buying these pumpkins for?" And I said, "Oh, I teach calligraphy classes and we're going to write on pumpkins." And she said, "You must be good." And I was like I wanted to crawl up in a little ball. And I was like,
yes, I am, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, I was kind of I'm okay, I guess. And then I was like, no, I'm great. Do you want to take one of my classes?
Right.
Yeah. So it's you have to get out of that shell and you have to just kind of
market yourself.
Believe in yourself and market yourself because nobody else is going to do that. We have
and that's
to
in any business you do, regardless of what you do. Because when you're working for yourself, you're your own marketer, you're your own secretary, you're your own boss, you're everybody,
right? Oh my God, you're your social media planner, you're your accountant. Right. I mean, you name it, I do it. I'm a project manager.
All that, CEO, CFO, all that.
Yeah.
So Jessica, one of the reasons why, not just of your business, is why I wanted to bring you here today, is also really just talking about the adversity that you faced during the past several years, right? I don't want to get I don't want to get too deep, but you got to tell people how you did this, because this will inspire. Like, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. After everything that you went through, and you're going to hear a story here in a second, but everything that she went through, she keeps a smile on her face. She does her workouts every day. She has her personal trainer. Like, she's on a mission, and I just admire that. So thank you so much for setting an example.
It's like I always feel like nobody notices, but
of course we notice.
Yeah,
we're girl power, you know.
Yes,
I love to see another woman successful, right? So tell us a little bit, as much as you want to say, about your journey, right? The past several years.
All right, y'all ready? Like, buckle up, put your seatbelt on. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Get some tissues.
So 2 years ago, I started teaching calligraphy. I was already doing calligraphy for like weddings, events, plus a full-time job. And I was married. I'd been married for close to 11 years at that time. Right. And my mother was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and had a surgery and never left the hospital, and was on a ventilator and couldn't speak to us. And my family lives in San Antonio. So every weekend, I would go home to relieve my sister so she could go home with her husband. Right. And I would go stay with my mom and care for her and slowly watch her die. You had your sisters at the time, and I think that was really one of the things that helped you, right? Yeah, I mean, it was really great. My sisters we were each other's rock, and one of the most difficult times in our lives. Right. And the person who I thought would have been my rock, my husband, was not. And 3 weeks after my mom passed, he asked me for a divorce. And I was completely devastated. There were times where I could not get out of the bed. Right. I mean, we all asked this when this happened, right? And you told us about it, and I was in shock. First of all, we didn't expect that from that person. I'm not going to say any names. We didn't expect it from that person. We thought he was, a great person. But after that happens, how can any human being with a heart do that to anybody, right? Yeah. I mean, it's tough. And he's a great person in his own right. He has many great qualities, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out, and at the moment that I needed him, he wasn't there, and for whatever reason, whatever was going on with him, I've come to realize that it wasn't about me. He made it all about me. Right. And it took me a long time to realize that it wasn't anything that I was doing. There was something There were some dark days that you went through too, Jessica. I've had to talk to her a few times where, she was just belligerently crying, and I'm just like, get it together. And she does. She gets it together. But we're allowed those days where we have the breakdowns, right? Yeah. How can you not break down after what you went through? No, I mean, it was... Sometimes I'm surprised in myself, like, how am I still standing here? You're a strong ass woman. There were so many days. I mean, we sold our house. I didn't have time to really think about what was happening. I moved into a small apartment from a 4-bedroom house into a tiny, small little apartment. And that we had to go big adjustment. Yeah, we went room by room on what's yours, what's mine. That this life that we built together, this life that I thought we were going to have. We split the dogs. I mean. Yeah, you had 2 dogs. You had to split one. It was like a kid. I mean, it was tough. It was really tough. I will say that calligraphy really helped get me through things because I'm alone now. I don't have somebody else supporting me, and I had to hustle to still get these jobs. I have my friends and family, but. Yes. I love you guys, but you guys don't pay my bills. Like, I'm like, sorry. No. Yeah. So there's nobody else to rely on but me, myself, and I. And so I had to still try to hustle. One of the things in the ending of our marriage, I was told that I was too strong of a woman. and that I focus too much on making a name for myself.
Okay, hold on a second before you go any further. I got to comment on this because I've heard this too many times with men. And I heard this somewhere online, I know, but it really resonated in me. And they said a strong man can be with a feminine woman, whereas a weak man can be with a masculine woman. And let's distinguish what we're talking about with masculine energy, what they say about strong women, saying we have masculine energy. The reason for that is we have to deal with a lot of weak-ass men these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not going to go there because this is not a dating thing. But, ultimately, that is what it is. Strong women that have to persevere, go through. I mean, there's nobody paying our bills.
Yeah.
You have to do it yourself.
Had to, and for me, what I used to say was that everything I was doing, building my business, making a name for myself, was to benefit us as a team.
Right.
We were supposed to be a
You're
partnership.
supposed to be, right, as a marriage.
And so now that I'm single, I hustle because,
for you.
For me now.
Yeah.
And now I feel like when I get a job, when I get, these wine companies that are messaging me now, Alexander McQueen, Burberry, they want me to go, girl, yes. I don't have to sit there and say, well, I'm going to need to spend my Friday night with my husband, or I'm going to have to cook him a meal on this night. Now I'm like, I don't have to say no to anybody. And if somebody wants to come in now, it's like, okay, this is what I have, this is what I bring, and you're either going to appreciate it and
you're going to bring it equally. Yeah. Equal.
Yeah.
Equal.
Yeah. And so for me, going calligraphy just helped, and having the classes. I mean, there were days where I would sit in my car crying and then have to get it together to go teach a class.
Right. And I remember you called me a couple of those times you were in the car.
And if you were one of my students during that time, you would have never known what was going on.
Absolutely. You got to stay strong.
Yes. And then I would be done. I'd pack up. I'd get in my car, and I'd cry all the way home.
Right.
And I'd cry in my bed, and I wouldn't eat. I mean, I was a mess.
You was a hot mess.
You've
hot
come
mess. A long way. And this girl, I was a little worried about you.
Yeah, I was probably worried. I think I was worried about myself too. I mean, there were many days where I just thought, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough to get through this.
But what can you tell other women, let's say, not just women, let's say men, what can you say to other men and women that have gone through the struggles and the heartbreak and everything else that comes with owning your own business? What do you think you can tell them? Other than being strong, because we all know we have to be strong, right? What else can you advise people?
One of the biggest things for me is to believe in yourself, and that's hard. It was really hard, especially when you go through a lot of things, whether it be relationships, whether it be a relationship with the husband, with the sister, with the mother. Relationships in general are hard. It doesn't matter what that relationship is, and any kind of relationship can bring us trauma or hurt.
Yes.
And when you hear somebody beat you down, tell you negative is always easy to believe, right?
Right. And after you face that, you can have that negative thoughts about you because you're like, I wasn't good enough. My husband didn't want, we can have those negative thoughts.
Even today, I struggle with, I was the worst wife that there ever was.
You were not.
I didn't make him a meal for lunch. I did not wash his underwear.
Every single day.
While my mother was dying, I did not wash his clothes. And I still
selfish. I'm sorry, that was so selfish.
And I still struggle with that. Because I know I'm not perfect. And I know there are many things that, looking back, I could have done differently.
He was
my
perfect.
world. He was the love of my life. And I never imagined a day that I would be without him. And I look back and I know what my faults are. And I know where I can improve, and not just for my next partner, but for myself. It's like I can wake up in the morning. I go, I work out almost every day.
I'm so proud of you.
If not every day, it's at least 5 times a day. Sometimes I go twice a day. I feel good. I feel happy, and I haven't felt that in a really long time. And
I'm so happy for you.
Something just clicked finally, and I was like, it was never about me. It was never about me.
It was him.
And for whatever he was going through, and that's something we don't need to talk about that.
Because a real
but
marriage, when you think about it, y'all work it out.
Yeah. Well, that's what marriage is.
Exactly.
You work, you talk, and you work through things.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just finally just believing in myself.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to fail. We're all going to fail.
We will fail, but you're going to, what's the most important thing? You get
up.
Back up.
You get up.
Right.
You get up. And I used to get so tired of all of you all. I love you all dearly. I love my friends and my family dearly. But I would get so tired of people just saying, just give it some time. Give it some time. You'll be better. Give it some time. Well,
they say time heals, right? It's true.
Yes and no. Like, enough with the time. Let me just sit and cry. Like, let me have like some days where I'm just sitting and crying.
It got to the point where you were having too many of those days, and we were a little bit concerned because you were hysterical at times.
I am Latina, and I am a little crazy. And
Latinas are a little bit.
We get a little fiery and testy.
Well,
hey, but it can be good,
They're kind of same as Asians, but anyway. So
there was a lot of days. There was a lot of dark days, and I think finally every day I just kept improving and feeling better about myself, and just really just trying to improve myself.
That confidence in yourself. I think that's anywhere you do. Like even in my job, the confidence in itself can make the biggest difference.
Oh yeah.
In any business you do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to go in there. I mean, and I do calligraphy classes at venues, and so I have to go in there alone, and I have to talk to managers. I have to go in and build relationships, and I have to welcome everybody. And it's not fun if you're walking into a class and your instructor is like, "Hi, how are you?"
Right.
Like,
or just sad and crying, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
you don't want one of those, right?
Yeah, and so I just try to bring the excitement, and then I want to share the love that I have for calligraphy, because it really, I mean, without that, there were days I wouldn't have left. Yeah.
The passion and your energy, right? Because that's important for people too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's so awesome.
I know. I am awesome.
I love it. So, see, this is the kind of confidence you need to establish. And that's amazing. You're doing business with big names now.
Yeah.
Hit the girl up. Like,
it was, My first, I think last year, I went to Alexander McQueen for the holidays in Highland Village, and I was sitting there and I was like crying inside because all I wanted to do was share it with him. And then I finally thought, you know what? No, this is my accomplishment.
You did this by yourself, yeah.
And I don't need to share that with him or anybody else.
Because who cares?
Yeah, I was like, I'm proud of myself, and that's what you have to remember is make yourself proud.
Right.
Make yourself proud. And then once you're proud of yourself and you're happy, then everything else will just fall in line. But you have to be proud of yourself and be happy with who you are inside. And then everything else will just fall in line.
I agree. So what do you think is next for you? What's next in line for Jessica?
Oh, my gosh. That's like a loaded question.
It's a great question, isn't it? I'm getting good at this.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to date. I know, no, we don't need to go into any of that.
We're not going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay,
but
that's another day, y'all.
Yeah, I'm finally at the point with myself where I feel like I can date again. Because there's a lot of times where I didn't even feel comfortable giving somebody a number. If somebody asked me for my number, I was like, no.
Oh, you told me you went out on a date and started crying after you did.
I cried, you guys. Like, that poor guy was probably like, this girl's a hot mess. Like, yeah.
Just don't date when you're not ready.
Yeah,
you guys have to heal before you
ready.
date, please.
Be ready.
That's why I remain single, and because there's a lot of people that are messed up in the head mentally.
Well, so just get right with yourself, and then the right people will they'll just fall in line. It'll just happen. But you have to be right with yourself first 100%. To attract the same energy.
Yeah, because if you're not healed, then you're going to attract the wrong energy, which I've done that. Okay.
Yeah, I know about that.
Guilty about that. But
so I'm dating. I am working on my calligraphy business. I'm doing classes. Like the next couple months is the holiday season. So
you're going to be busy.
Like
and you're going to, okay, so what, do you have Instagram?
I do. All of y'all can come follow me on Instagram.
Okay, what is it?
It's Write This Way Calligraphy, and it's WRIT, like actually writing, not like right and left. Like
right.
This Way Calligraphy.
WRIT, like right.
No, like Aerosmith. I'm going to show my age. Aerosmith, Walk This Way with Run DMC, except you're saying Write This Way.
Yes, Write This Way. Okay, and then you also have TikTok. Well,
I do have TikTok, and it's still, again, Write This Way Calligraphy. Facebook, everything is Write This Way Calligraphy.
Perfect. So we can
pretty easy to
follow her
find. Yes.
on all our handles.
Absolutely.
We'll make sure we have it so that everybody can see.
I mean, yeah, just come and say hi. If you need a little cheerleader encouragement, like, I will be like your cheerleader and be like, yeah, what are you doing? You got this.
She's so sweet, you guys. And she's very powerful and passionate. So, yes, she has her dark days when she did. But now.
But they're long gone. No more dark days.
And she is back to her normal self.
Except for when I use knives in the kitchen. I, like, almost slice my finger, and, like, those days can get kind of dark. But
don't hurt yourself, sweetheart.
I'm, like, the clumsiest ever. But, yes, I will totally be y'all's cheerleader. I am, like, the most positive person, and if you guys follow me and you need any kind of encouragement,
any weddings y'all need done, any special events for calligraphy, you guys, it's a beautiful little business to help her out, get her name out there. But anyway, any last thoughts, wishes, anything you want to tell the audience about business? Anything?
Just believe in yourself and just start. If you have an idea, just start.
Don't procrastinate. Yeah, just do it.
Just don't be scared, because otherwise you're just sitting around thinking you got to make things happen. Yeah. Nobody's going to make things happen for you. And it's great to have these ideas, but it's even better when you apply those ideas and you start taking action. And if you fail, you fail. And you learn from it and you pick up and you try again. But you got to start somewhere.
That's great advice. Thank you guys so much for listening today.
Thank you for having me.
I love your energy. But follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Everything will be on there. Spicy Korean, Big Boss Moves. Bye, you guys.
Bye.